Hey, welcome back to Driver 88. So recently we went through all the mods on my RS3, took it to the dyno, did a 0 to 100, all that sort of stuff. And in that time, my good mate Khalid has also picked up an RS3 and he has put a whole bunch of slightly similar but different mods, as well as unlocking his ECU. He took it to underground performance and sent the ECU all the way across the world, behind enemy lines, sent by a double agent to Russia to be tuned, because I've only got a Racingline PDM module in mind, and this one has hopefully the real deal. So we're going to compare both cars. We're also going to compare the sounds because they have different downpipes in them, and then do a little bit of testing as well. So please enjoy. They also have different mods on them, as you can see this front lip here. So my car, if you didn't watch our other video, I have, starting off with a Racingline intercooler, a integrated engineering intake, a Unitronic turbo inlet, and the Racingline PDM module. Now this is not the solution that of course I wanted to finish with. I do want to get obviously an off-the-shelf tune to make all this stuff work and get the maximum capacity out of it. Unitronic said that their tune is coming by the end of the year. It's already now like the 10th, 11th of December. It doesn't seem like that's happening, but for the moment we put this thing on the dyno and you'll see the figures now. That is with the Racingline PDM system only. I have a Miltech 200 cell downpipe, which makes things sound a little bit louder and fruity enough. I do have also Racingline Sport Springs, but I do not have spacers, unlike this car. I probably should put some spacers on it so it looks a little bit more uniform. And that is pretty much all the mods on my RS3. I'm pretty happy with it. All I need is just that last final piece, which may well be the answer with the other car. So my friend Khalid's car, the big difference is we have, as I said, we paid a double agent. The double agent went through Ukraine, through behind enemy lines, got the ECU tuned, and then sent it back here to Australia. That means that on the roller dyno, we picked up 50 plus kilowatts at the wheels, and it's by MGU and tuned by Underground Performance. Now we've got the same intake as my car, integrated engineering, really sexy looking thing. Same turbo inlet, a different intercooler. This is a DO88 intercooler. We have a very, very special downpipe, like a very special free-flowing downpipe, if you get my drift. Different springs, so these are iBark springs as opposed to mine on Racingline Sport Springs. And it's got Mode Concept spacers, so it sits a little bit better. We've also got, I'm not sure what brand it is, a front lip. Let me know what you think. Looks pretty cool. They have already smashed it, which is accepted with these front lips. That is pretty much all. It sounds really, really good. How about we compare now the cars on the dyno, even though they're quite different. So I put my car on a hub dyno, this one went on a roller, so don't compare them to exactly the same, but we'll get a bit of a comparer with the sound now. So we've spun it up on the rollers and got an increase of 67 horsepower and 120 Newton meters from stock. We started with 327 horsepower at the wheels and 453 Newton meters, and that increased to 394 horsepower and 573 Newton meters at the wheels. So the Daytona Grey car has had an MG1 ECU unlock, and that has been tuned by GT Innovations on 98 octane. There's also E85 potential options in future. Also, the top speed limiter has been removed. So let's talk the money. I have spent a little over $10,000 for all the mods on my car. This car we've spent about $20,000. Now the reason why I've spent more, even though it's got a few extra bits on it, to unlock your ECU here in Australia, we're quoted $5,000 to get a brand new ECU. We're talking $6,500. My tune, just the PDM module, I think it was about $1,800. The other option, of course, is Cyvex, which many people with RS3s are doing. For our sort of applications, where we're guys who like just taking these cars, mostly daily driven, but also on the weekend through some hills and foresty areas and stuff, we don't really need to have 800 horsepower with Cyvex and go 8 seconds. We're just cars that are more multi-purpose than just drag racing, which many other RS3 people are like. So those are the costs. Ultimately, still waiting for that tune, which hopefully will be like $2,000 or so. Racingline, actually, I messaged them recently and I said, hey, I've got the PDM, it's all right, it's not bad, but I saw on your website, I think that when a tune comes out, I can get that for free, and I got left on scene like a horny teenage boy. So, waiting for Unitronic. Come on, Christmas. Now in terms of interiors, they're very similar, although Khalid's car has every option besides the sunroof. So we've got the RS design package, which means we have all these little red accents as well as an Alcantara steering wheel. Mine has the dimpled leather steering wheel. I think I would prefer Alcantara because I'm not one of these filthy people that eats a kebab every day and then just does this to my steering wheel like some AMG drivers seem to do all the time. First drive in the unlocked ECU car. We've got it in dynamic now. And one of the things that really annoys me about my car is that it feels just a little bit too laggy in the everyday drive modes, and I'm hoping that that issue is fixed with this car. We've definitely got a little bit more noise in this one, and we've got more intake sound. I think the intercooler, the DO88 intercooler, is a little bit louder as well, so it's definitely louder. And it definitely feels faster than my car, as it should. Yeah, this is what I had hoped my car to be once it gets a proper tune. It's not so much just the fact that it's got a bit more power, it's just more responsive. We still can't unlock the gearboxes, of course, which is a pain, but I don't think it's like a deal breaker to not be able to do so. It's just the thing that I find the biggest difference is the torque. It's just a fatter, more satisfying amount of torque coming through the mid-range. Even though the gearbox hasn't been unlocked, the shifts do feel more aggressive, I think. Second gear is so good. I haven't got sick of these cars, and I've owned them since all the way back to 2017. Handling wise, I mean, the difference is just in the springs. I don't find a massive difference. I think this maybe is a little bit, the iBark springs, a little bit more softer than the Sportline, Racingline Sport Springs. Other things I've missed with being able to have the ECU unlocked, which means that we don't have to turn off start-stop all the time, which is a pain in my car. Also, of course, you've got OPF delete, which is something for Australian customers and people of other areas where you have OPFs on your car. Condolences. Pretty quickly I'm realizing that I would not recommend a Racingline PDM. That is it. It's unfortunate the tunes cost us so much damn money now, and we have to go through all this rigmarole to get them tuned and send them into behind enemy lines, but I think it's worth it. It does need a gearbox tuner. I've changed my mind. When I'm really on it, like, it's just a bit hesitant. I have to really like pick my shifts a little bit earlier than I usually would with other previous 8V tuned RS3s. It would just make the experience even more satisfying if we had that tune available. So, my car now, and I am relatively happy with this car and the mods altogether, but
starting normal recording.
There is something about the way the performance is just not as linear and responsive, even though there's more boost from third gear onwards. So far we dropped the 0 to 100 time from 3.8 to 3.50, but I did have my tire pressures at like 37.5 psi. I could have dropped them a fair bit, and we'll see tonight if I can get a bit faster. The Daytona grey car, 0 to 100, we just could not stop spinning in first. So that allowed us to get a best of 3.59, which is actually slower than the red car. However, you just have to take my word for it. The 100 to 200 time in the grey car is way faster, at least over half a second faster 100 to 200. I can't show you that right now because I live in a police state, but yeah, the grey car, way more torque once you get up and going. But I think if we had a better surface, I just didn't have as much time in the grey car to be able to warm up the tyres and take it to a proper bit of road. But yes, 3.59. One thing that this car kind of should have is just a bit more punch, even though it's just a module. So someone in the comments in my last video said you should have got a JB4, and you know what? They were probably right. But I'm happy with the rest of the mods on the car. If we can just get a tune that is appropriate, that would be great. It does sound better than stock though. There's just these like kind of dead spots when you're in drive. It's just missing a little bit of pep. For what I use this car for, I don't need that much more power, just sort of like another 10%. But isn't that what we always say as car enthusiasts, right? So I think in summary, what I probably should have done is spend a little bit extra to get my ECU unlocked and get sent all the way to Russia. Even though there is of course a bit of a risk. You can pay a bit of extra money to get a standalone ECU, but I am happy with all the rest of my mods anyway. I think this is something that we've learned today, that the Russian tune is definitely worth it. It's really transformed the RS3 as to what it should be, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we get that Unitronic tune by Christmas. I doubt it.